What is the Vince vibe?
It's the vibe that is getting everybody going.
It's confidence. It's fun.
Here he goes again!
There's just something about him. You're just drawn to him.
Vince Young, a magic man yet again!
Whatever it takes, he's going to get the job done.
The bigger the game, the better he plays.
Touchdown, Texas!
He's a leader. He's humble.
Unbelievable!
He's crazy.
Awesome.
He's all the above.
Amazing. I mean, you can't say enough about him.
I'd say invincible because that's what he's become.
Well, from the Rose Bowl to now, Vince Young is either the greatest human being to ever walk the planet or he's the most overhyped college quarterback of all time. There seems to be no middle ground. Let's bring back in Chris Mortensen with us right now. Chris, so much talk about his score on the Wonderlic test, but what's the bigger issue? Is it his score on that test or whether or not he can play under center in the NFL?
Well, probably whether he can play under center in the NFL. You got to remember, his coming out his junior year at Texas was a late development, so nobody did the in-season evaluation, and I think that's why we're getting the overkill on it. If you love Vince Young, you're still going to love him. If you don't like Vince Young, you're not going to like him. I think it's like Phil Savage of the Cleveland Browns. Their general manager said, hey, if you take Vince Young, you got to be willing to change your scheme and probably have two different schemes because you're not going to have another quarterback on your roster like him. But clearly, I think he's going to go in the top 10, no question. He could still be the first quarterback taken in this draft.
I tell you what, he was fun to watch in college. You just wonder about the transition to the next level. Mel, right now, where do you project Vince Young landing?
See, certainly in that mix. I think you look at the Oakland Raiders. I think what Mort said is right. He's going to go somewhere in that group to somebody trade up to get him. And in terms of the Wonderlic, if that's so accurate in terms of determination about an NFL quarterback's future, you have to take some guys either out of the Hall of Fame or some guys that are ready to go in that wouldn't necessarily be of that caliber. So to me, that's overrated. I think you look at Vince Young, big kid with a strong arm, a quick release, and he's got great instincts. He knows when to run. He thinks pass first, run second. He's got that intuitive ability that you cannot coach, you can't teach. Vince Young already has that. Michael Vick is still learning it. So he's ahead of Michael Vick right now in terms of being, in my opinion, a big-time NFL quarterback.
Well, that is a bold statement, one Mel Kiper, but you're right about the Wonderlic test because Alex Smith aced it and he had all kinds of struggles last year. And again, Vince Young will be in Tennessee working out with the Titans on Wednesday. Here's the Scouts Inc. book right now on Vince Young. Our partners say while he is the ideal size as a quarterback and a tremendous athlete, his passing skills still in question. According to Scouts Inc., he's made strides in that department, but is still raw and needs to work on his decision-making as well as his throwing mechanics. All right, let's send it over to Sean and Merrill in the Sports Center film room to break down Vince Young.
All right, Trey. Now, Vince Young, the pros and the cons. He's got some amazing pros, Haji.
Yes,
First for me, and it's the obvious one, but you got to buy into it, is mobility. He makes things happen when things are not there. His ability to take something out of nothing and turn it into a 10. He's the most elite player as far as mobility goes in this draft and maybe in the last handful of drafts with his ability to do it.
You're throwing Reggie Bush in there.
I'm talking about a quarterback.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Define that.
I can't dog my Trojan now. You know that. But that's why. Now, obviously, another pro is his ability to move on the run and make the throw.
Right. Well, I think one of the things, too, when we think about mobility, a lot of people compare him to Mike Vick, and that's really an unfair combination because Mike Vick is much quicker and actually a lot faster. Actually, where Vince Young has the advantage, he's a little stronger.
Take a look at both these. The ability for Vince Young now to get himself rolling and mobility, buys time. We've seen it happen, eludes the rush. And remember, this is a 6'5", 220-pound guy that can run 4.5 or upper 4.4s. And I don't like to see this one because I was on the sidelines for this barrel. Tackle him! Tackle him! But it doesn't appear that anybody can because the guy has got great vision in the open field with his mobility. And here's what you're talking about, Merrill, his ability to throw on the run.
The one thing that is a positive when I watch him on tape is he does have the ability to find people that are open when he goes to scramble. A lot of quarterbacks will move and they can't find anybody that's open. Vince Young has displayed when he runs with the football, he's able to be accurate on it, but he is able to find those people that are open. That is one positive that I've seen in throwing the football.
And he's a winner. He's got a national championship ring. Now the cons, and there's two that stick out to Merrill and I. First for me is his arm location. Instead of being up here, he drops way down to 3/4, almost to sidearm, and it's going to get a lot of batted balls, Haji, during the season. He'll have to throw through lanes, but more importantly is that he takes about 4 inches off his height. He's going to need to adjust it, but you can't make wholesale changes at this time of your life.
Well, I agree. That's, what do you like, vanilla or chocolate? Because where he places the football, where it releases, doesn't bother me because if you look at his tight compact, he gets rid of the football
quickly.
Where I think he really struggles, and he will struggle at the next level, he has poor footwork, and that is where it comes down to being a good quarterback. It's not the ball here. Your footwork will tell you everything everything about throwing the football as a quarterback, and his footwork is very bad, and it will have to get better to the next level.
And especially being under center and in the gun, as we know that Vince Young has been in the gun most of the time, and you don't do that in the NFL. Have a look now at some of the cons for Vince Young and what he's going to have to overcome. The results are great, but look where that elbow is now. Like I said, at this stage of his career, you cannot make wholesale changes with Vince Young's arm motion, but you're going to have to make some adjustments, Haji. And here it is again. Look how low it is. But like you said, the thing that makes up for it is that he's got a great compact release and gets the ball out quickly. And here's what you're talking about, being in the gun now. They don't run many options.
Now here's the real negative. You see, that is a designed run. It's part of a run action. It's something that Texas did beautifully, and it's great for college football. But when you study him on tape, what you have to, when you're taking a guy and you're transitioning to the National Football League, you've got to eliminate 90% of the called design runs by the quarterback. Why? Because they don't work in the NFL. They won't work in the NFL. And if they called that many runs, Vince Young wouldn't make it to week 4. So as far as that aspect of the game for Vince Young, that is a wash in the National Football League. Will not work. That means throwing the football becomes more of a priority, and that is where I find a big negative. It was a one-read system in Texas, and they do not have one-read systems in the National Football League. Defense tells you where to throw it, and he didn't do a very good job of reading defenses.
Boy, is he athletic, though. Safe to say.
Very good athlete.
Liners, we talked earlier, now Vince Young. I think both guys are going to be taken by teams in the top 5. Back to you, Trey. You're one of our top 5, buddy.